Hello and welcome to the PlayCajon podcast, conversations with drummers and percussionists from around the world. I'm Paul Jennings and this is episode 4. The man I'm talking with today is Munyungo Jackson, who is somewhat of a legend in the percussion world. He just got home after finishing up the US leg of the Stevie Wonder Songs in the Key of Life tour. He's played with Stevie for over 20 years now. And along with that, he's played with other legends, including Miles Davis, Sting, Herbie Hancock, and so many more. I first met Munyungo when he was in Minneapolis back in March while touring with Stevie Wonder. He's a very cool guy with some amazing stories and great insight into percussion and music. He plays a vast variety of instruments and has a wealth of knowledge to go with it. Right now, he's busy in LA working on all kinds of projects, including a new single with R&B singer Deborah Laws. I really am very excited to bring this conversation to you guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. Munyungo, thanks so much for joining me on the PlayCajon podcast. How are you?
I'm doing great, Paul. Everything is cool. It's a pleasure to be on your show. PlayCajon podcast. That's some new stuff.
Yeah, it's a new show. This is going to be the 4th episode, so it's really quite exciting to have the likes of yourself, Mr. Munyungo Jackson, who has played with a few people over the years, I believe.
Yeah, just a few. Right now, I'm working with Stevie. You know who he is.
Stevie who?
Stevie Wonder, you know who. Yeah, we just finished the Songs in the Key of Life tour here in the United States. We may do some more in Europe, but we will see how the world is.
Yeah, that's cool. So you just got off the tour recently, and now you're back in LA and busy as hell, I believe.
Yeah, I'm quite busy. Finishing up on some projects and. Assisting different people. I have 2 sons, and I just got married, so that helps too.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you so much.
What's your new bride's name?
Iona Morris Jackson.
Oh, lovely! That's great, man. When did you get married?
Yesterday.
Wow.
Saturday. We got married Saturday. It's like a 2-day thing.
So you have been busy.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. Seriously, congratulations, man. That's great.
Thank you, sir.
Well, cool. Yeah. What are you going anywhere for a honeymoon?
We did some pre-honeymoon things this summer.
Right.
What I'm doing now. See, I'm kind of like a workaholic, and I want to get back to work on some of the things we're going to do. And we'll think about that. Of course, I leave that part of my life private anyway.
Yeah, so. Of course. So musically, what's going on with you at the moment?
Well, I'm working on a lady named Deborah Laws. She's in the Laws family. We're doing a short, like a short CD, like a 3-tune CD. I forget what they call it. And trying to get past the holidays so we can do it right. And it's kind of like a part-time thing, but she's a great singer. She's the sister of Ronnie Laws and Hubert Laws, and has another great sister, Eloise Laws. The Laws family are very blessed and very gifted. So I want to kind of bring her back out on some different things that she's hasn't done in a while.
Cool. And so that is when can we expect that to be released?
Well, one I wanted to do during this spring season, and I'm kind of like, I think it'll be out this week, actually. It's going to be pretty quick.
Oh, cool.
And can't wait for you to hear it.
Yeah.
It's a standard that a lot of people have done. Many people have done this standard, but it's never been done like this. And it's called Baby It's Cold Outside.
Oh, yeah.
Which you may hear on this show. So
I think we're gonna play a little excerpt of it at some point.
Yes,
to showcase it.
And this is why it'll work on your show, because it's sort of like an R&B thing, but it's played with a cajon.
Oh, I like that. Nicely nicely done. That would fit perfectly on the PlayCajon podcast.
Of course, when you hear it, you probably won't pay attention to the cajon because it will sound like drums. There's different ways that you can play a cajon, and I've done it different ways. But to do it as this type of tune, really opens up what it can do, what else it can do. I love the cajon, man.
Yeah,
it's one of my fun things to do, man.
Well, it's so incredibly versatile as an instrument in its tradition and out with the tradition.
Yes it is. I love it.
Yeah, well, I wanted to kind of take it back to the start of Munyungo Jackson, the percussionist, because I know just from reading your bio, you grew up in a pretty musical household, but when was it that percussion like hit you and you were like, man, that's what I want to do? I think we had a conversation like this when we met for brunch in Minneapolis. You said you discovered timbales and you were like, whoa.
Yeah, I was through elementary school. I remember back rubbing my teeth together to rhythms, and when you rub your teeth, nobody can hear but you.
Yeah.
And I would play a lot of these different rhythms, and I didn't know I had music in my family back then. But my mother, I got two brothers and three sisters, and she all made us take piano lessons. My oldest brother, he would play clarinet. The next brother would play trumpet. I would play piano, and my three sisters would play piano. Of course, I was kind of bored with it because the guys were peeking in the window as we were taking lessons. They wanted us to come out and play ball in the street. But I kind of stayed with piano, even though I wasn't that great at it. I was just doing what I was supposed to do, which is a different feeling of doing what you want to do.
Right.
So, but when I got into junior high school, in high school, there was a guy who I was supposed to play with next month. His name is Harold Johnson. He was a piano player in junior high school, and his father was a preacher of a church, and he was play piano in the church. A young guy, a young gospel guy.
Yeah.
And he got into writing a lot of music. When we were in junior high school, we were in the orchestra class, and he's playing piano, and all the girls liked him and whatnot. And I was playing bass, just starting to play bass because I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and piano wasn't really my good instrument. But he was a year ahead of me in school. So when he graduated, he went to Washington High School, and then I got there a semester later. And one of the things they had, like we had a talent show in junior high school. We went to Horseman Junior High School, and one of the things we used to do was pantomime to different records,
Yeah.
And move our lips like we're singing, but we wouldn't really be singing. We just kind of perform on stage to records. Yeah, we had records back then.
Right, like actual records.
Yeah,
made out of vinyl.
Exactly, vinyl with that you put a needle on.
Yep.
And you got to keep it clean because you can hear little scratches in it. But when I got to Washington High School a semester after Harold Johnson got there, I noticed during the talent show there, everybody would perform live, no pantomiming.
No miming, just everyone was live.
Exactly. And he came on and played, and like I said, he could play great in junior high school. So he had a band together in high school, and it was him, a flute player, bass player, upright bass, and two conga players. I don't even remember if they had a drummer. I remember seeing two conga players.
Yeah.
And they were playing some stuff with the. I said, "Oh man, that's what I like. That's kind of like the stuff I've been rubbing my teeth together." I said, "Oh man, I like that music." So I met the conga players, and then I said, "Man, I love to do that." I really dug it, and. Also, at the same time, my parents used to be radio DJs way back then, a station called KTYM,
right?
103.9. And they had the radio show, they would play jazz. And my father was a program director, so we got a lot of records sent to our house. So I was listening to a lot of music on the radio, too, and listening to these guys. Playing congas, I wanted to get into whatever music had congas in it back. Jazz music that had congas, And so I met the guys, and listening to. I started listening to a lot of music on the radio like that, like Latin jazz. I listened to Mongo Santa Maria, Willie Bobo, Tito Puente, Ray Barretto, different people like that way back then. And these guys turned me on to that kind of stuff too. So I was listening to that kind of music. And then my father was emceeing at a club way back then called Marty's on the Hill. And he knew that I was starting to get into more percussion, Latin music, Latin jazz, than just playing piano,
Yeah.
classical piano and whatnot. So he was emceeing this night, and Mongo Santa Maria was there. He was telling me, yes, a guy named Mongo Santa Maria is there. I want you to come down. Yeah, I've been listening to his music. Oh, man, I want to come down. So I came up with my girlfriend back then, and we're walking in. As we're coming in, and we had to go around a partition where you couldn't see the band until you come to the end of the partition. The end of the partition was near the stage.
Yeah.
And then you had to walk back, where people were watching. And they were playing this groove, and there was a guy playing timbales named Carmelo Garcia. And we walked in, and he had a set of drums in the back, but had the timbales up next to Mongo. And he was starting to play a solo on timbales. I said, man, is that what he's... Oh, man, listen to that. I was bumping in the seats trying to sit down to him play. Yeah. I said, oh, man. I said, that's what I want to do. I want to get something that I can accompany all these conga players that are playing all over the place.
Right.
If I can just get some timbales and just play some straight time, I will learn from these guys, So that's what I wanted to do. Not play congas, but play timbales.
And now you play both, obviously.
Oh, yeah, that and a bunch of other things.
Right, of course, yeah. Because I was reading that you actually have quite a collection of percussion instruments. Is that right?
Yeah, I got a few things.
Yeah. So,
a couple of thousand instruments running around here.
You must have a big house.
Pardon me?
You must have a big house.
Yeah, well, yeah, I got a 3-bedroom house, 3 bathrooms, and a studio in the back. But see, and I couldn't get, and I have a little storage bin. When I bought the house, it used to be like a washroom. I said, no, that's going to be where my cases are going to go.
Right.
And so what I do is I have instruments in every room, and they are like ornaments. They look good.
Yeah.
But they're usable too. So. Yeah, we kind of put them in an artful place where it looks like maybe a museum or something like that.
Oh, cool. So, and then when you decide to go out, when you get the call to go out on tour, do you have like a sort of touring rig that's stored somewhere, or how does that work? Do you kind of go around your house picking out drums, or do you have like a,
No, well, it depends on musically what I'm going to do, because if there's some interesting instruments that I need for this tour, yeah, I'll take them myself, depending on the size of them. But like, for instance, like with Stevie, I have 2 giant cases of equipment that they keep in their warehouse
right.
and everything else. So that's totally separate from what I have here at my house. But there are some things, little small hand instruments that I always take with me that I use in different places, use in the same place. Some like little small shakers, little small things that I use in a lot of different musical situations, But for the main thing, congas, timbales, my whole setup for Stevie is kept there. That's the same setup. Well, it's a little different. It's always been upgraded through LP.
Yeah.
I'm with Latin percussion. I'm with Remo. I'm with Paiste cymbals.
Lovely.
Yeah, and
so
big first sticks.
Big Firth, cool.
So all I want to say is all that stays separate for what I have at home. And what I have at home is for what I use in the studio to record, and then I have another set that I use just locally, putting some things in my car. And I use that, out and about. So,
but the Stevie Wonder rig is a completely separate thing that's sort of handled by drum techs and LP and other people.
Yes.
When did you start playing with Stevie Wonder?
Wow. I think it was like 92, 93. 94, somewhere in there. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. I think it was 93 that I started playing with Stevie.
And how did you get the gig?
How did I get the gig?
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Nate Watts, who is the music director, who's been with Stevie over 40 years.
Yeah.
I recorded with Stevie way before, I started working with him, started traveling with him. And they were looking for a percussionist. And so Nate called me and we were talking about the gig, whatnot. And yeah, he says, yeah, we're going here, we're doing there, we're doing this, and need a percussionist. And so if you're interested in the gig, well, no, would you like to do it? I said, of course. Now, wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, no worries.
So, then we talked a long time about a lot of things. He says, so now, do you want to audition for the gig? I said, oh, heck no. I do not want to audition for that gig. If you either call me and let me do the gig, if you don't like me, you guys can get rid of me. But no, I can't stand auditions. I've never got a gig from an audition. I think out of all the auditions I've done, I think I got one other gig, and that was with Joe Zawinul, with the Zawinul Syndicate.
Yep.
And he had me come up to his house, and I played some congas and bongos, or some little things that I brought him. We're playing, and he's playing some different things and some different tempos, some different rhythms, in 7 and in 5, and different meters.
Yeah.
And we were just hanging. He said, "Okay, you got the gig." Other than that, any gig that I've auditioned for, I never got. I can't stand auditioning. So I told Nick, "Nah, go me audition, never mind." He says, "Okay, you got the gig."
So all these guys that are like, "Oh, I got to get auditions. I've got to find auditions." That's not necessarily the way we need to go.
Well, I mean, there's some people that do auditions. I remember I did an audition for Janet Jackson one time, and Patrice Rushen was the MD back then.
Right.
And she worked with him before. And so we're playing Janet Jackson's music. And now me, when I'm new in the band, when I'm there for the first time, my thing is, let me listen to everybody. Let me see where the groove is. I will never force my way into a groove just so somebody can hear me or see me. I cannot do that.
That makes sense.
I want to listen to everybody. I want to see where it's at. I want to see what's going on, and then I add to it. I just want to flow in. It's like making a salad where all the ingredients are harmonizing. Everything tastes good. You don't want this to stick out, that to stick out. There was a couple of guys in the band who I don't remember their names, but everybody was sticking out and trying to stick out and dancing and do what they do. I'm not into that. I'd rather play. When the music starts to sound good, then I'll smile. Then I'll be happy. You know, like that.
I love that. Yeah, I love that you said that, because I feel like whenever I encounter a musician who just feels like they're trying to prove themselves and they're not trying to just fit into the music and give it what it needs, I'm always turned off by that. So I think that's a great piece of advice as well, if you want to give it as such.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. People who, everybody's in a different age, everybody's in a different genre of music. Excuse me. But I think that music is like a conversation, How can you speak with somebody or play with somebody if you don't understand what they're saying? If you're not listening to what they're saying, listening to what they're doing. And there's certain things that you can play together. First of all, if you're grooving together and it feels good, that's a great conversation right there. And then there's a couple of things you can throw in and see what the response is, like that.
Yeah.
But it should not be a competition at all. Unless you want it to be. And if you want it to be a competition, you got all them chops to deal with that, then so be it also. Music is so open to so many things, it's ridiculous. And it's one of the fun things in life. I still feel like a big kid when it comes to this stuff.
That's cool, man. And so what's it like? I wanted to ask you this. You are touring with, you've played with some real big icons in your life, and just touring with someone like Stevie Wonder, who is like literally one of the musical icons of the world. What's the cool things about that? makes you sort of go, wow, this is fun?
Well, first of all, there's a lot of groups that are out, and depending on what they're doing, and pop groups and whatnot, they use pre-recorded tracks to play to. Um, I mean, looks good, sounds good, and
Yeah.
it's about the people on stage. It's about the dancing, the choreography, a show that they put on. It's a show, and everywhere they go, they put on this show. It's a pre-recorded show. Yeah, you play, and
But there's a bunch of tracks behind it, and
there's a bunch of tracks behind you. Got to look good, and that whole thing. With Stevie, now Stevie is pop. You can call it whatever kind of music because he has big ears. He listens to a lot of different kind of music. So when we're playing on stage, we have this show. The show that we just did, Songs in the Key of Life, which is a 2-record set. And this was, since I've been playing with Stevie, this has been one of the only times we've had some pre-recorded tracks that we're playing to, but still he will still go turn left on some of those things, because we'll play some of the pre-recorded track. Then he wants to stretch it out. The track is done, and now we're still playing to a click, and we'll go some different places because you never know where he wants to go, and that's what makes it exciting. He lets everybody play. It's so loose but tight at the same time, and every night he goes somewhere else, which keeps the show fresh.
yeah.
I haven't been on a show where it's pre-recorded and you do the same show every night. So I don't know right now. I don't know the difference because I've been in the jazz world also,
Yeah, right.
But with Stevie, it's a pop world and he's still playing. He still lets everybody play. He features everybody. It's a fun gig. That's what makes it like that. It's not like it's a big dollar gig, but the money is nice. But the music is great, and so it's almost like a healing thing,
Well, it's such a sorry. When I went to see you guys in Minneapolis when we first met, it was you really got that vibe. It was almost, I mean, for the audience, you felt like it was a healing experience because just the energy that all you guys were putting into it was so positive, and you could tell that you were having a good time, and you could tell that it was different every night, even though we were just seeing it that night,
Mm-hmm.
So that's such a cool thing. What's a typical day like on the road with a tour that's as big as that?
What's a typical day like? Wow.
Yeah.
It's just like on stage. All the days are different also. And the way we work is there are no consecutive nights. Like 2 nights, 3 nights in a row. He will never do any consecutive nights. So there's a lot of off time. So what I do, I'm this workaholic guy, man. We were going to be gone 2 months. We have a lot of days in between. So I brought my equipment that I can write some music. A couple of guys brought some equipment too where they can write some music. A couple of projects that I'll do some editing. I'll do something. I can't sit around and do nothing. But at the same time, on a tour like that also gives me time to rest. Because even at home, sometimes I don't have time to rest because I'm always doing something.
Right, but you can kind of chill for a morning and half of an afternoon in the hotel room or something if you need to.
If you need to and if you want to, yes. That's depending on the schedule also.
And I just wanted to say we met for the first time on that tour because of a mutual friend of ours who played with you guys, Martin O'Neill. So I just wanted to thank him for the connection.
Oh, yeah, Martin O'Neill's a great guy.
Yeah.
And he plays that drum. What's that drum called?
The Bowron or the Baran.
Baran, yes.
The Irish drum.
The Irish drum, he holds it in his lap and he has like a 2-sided stick.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun gig also. That was the gig that...
Well, that was the world percussion section you had on that tour, was it not?
Yes.
And you had to put that together.
I had to put it together.
Can you tell us a bit about what that was like?
Well, it was, we first of all, when we did we did the CD. He wanted some percussion on the CD, but he wants some world percussion. That means percussion from different countries,
Yeah.
to play together on the CD. And so he called me, kind of like Stevie calls like a lot at the last minute, but it happens, and it's not so much like last minute. If he has a thought that comes in his head, he says, "Oh, cool, I'm gonna get some people that can put this together for me." And boom, it happens. And it happens a lot in different situations. So if you think of something at the last minute and you can do it, the energy you put into it, man, it comes out great.
That's right.
So he had me put together some people to play on his record. And so, I mean, and I can go into that and be like, oh, wow.
Right.
But he wanted the same thing on the road. So he said, look, we're going to Europe. I want you to put together some people that can play these drums but in Europe, but they had to be from Europe or live in Europe. We can't fly them in from different places.
Okay.
So I got a guy from, I can't even say his name now, Jamal Arousi. He's from Algeria.
Yeah.
We got a guy from Senegal that played the djembe. We got a guy from more central part. I think he's from Cameroon. We got a guy from the Philippines that played some drums from South Pacific. Not from the Philippines. He's from another island in the Pacific.
Yeah.
We had a guy that lives in London who's from India, his family's from India, and he's a tabla player. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He is serious. You might know him because
What's his name? Do you remember?
I can't remember his name, but he was a good friend of Martin O'Neill. He's a friend of Martin O'Neill.
Okay.
He's a friend of Martin O'Neill. And man, it was great. And they only played like two tunes,
Yeah.
They had their own bus. They had their, they were just rolling. They had a couple of times I rode on the bus with them, and Jamal brought his guitar, and he's singing on the bus, and we're playing. Everybody's beating on the table and whatnot.
Yeah.
These are some percussionists from different countries, and it was so cool. It was fun with them.
That's cool, man. So was Stevie like, these are the drums I want, or was he like, I want like a wide section of the percussive planet?
He wants a wide section. He left it up to me to get a wide section, and because he knows what I know how to do.
Yeah.
He trusts me,
Yeah.
And I'll hook him up the best I can, and he loves it.
That's great. And he must have, Stevie Wonder, he must have such a knowledge of percussion himself. You get that feeling that he knows a lot about different cultures and percussion specifically, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so, because I gave him a couple of percussion instruments for when his birthday comes around. He says, "Oh yeah, I like this. Yeah, I have one of these back there." I said, "Oh man, here we go."
Here we go.
Yeah, I tried to give him something unique, and he play. Yeah, oh yeah, I got one of those. It's over there. I said, "Oh man."
That's hilarious. Not to stop talking about Stevie Wonder because it's fascinating, but another fascinating name that you've played with is Miles Davis.
Oh yeah.
What's Miles Davis like? Or
Well,
was he like?
What was he like? Yeah, a lot of people were kind of afraid of Miles, so they think he's like so deep and heavy, which he is. But he was a funny guy too. He had some other things that he would do and say. And yeah, it was fun with Miles because. I was playing with, before I went with Miles, I was playing with Joe Zawinul Syndicate.
Yeah.
Which was a great band there, too. And Zawinul, he played smaller venues, but, it's about playing. It's about that energy. It's like hitting hard. You got these different things musically. And so when I got called for Miles, I said, oh, man, what am I going to do? Because if I'm doing this for Joe Zawinul, what's it going to be like with Miles?
Right.
Miles, like Zawinul, I say, is hard hitting and swinging and doing a bunch of stuff and playing, and it's like that. When I got with Miles, we would play, and then he would break it down. We'd break down some grooves, And when you break it down, and then it starts simmering there, when we're grooving and it just starts to like this tune, boom, ba 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 da 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 ba da da ba ding ding do da do ding da do do ding do ding do ding do ding do 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 ding. You know, break it down to do ding do baby baby. You know, we would groove and play the melodies and stuff like that at a very low volume.
I noticed that because I've been a fan of Miles Electric, like the 80s stuff, for a long time. And I noticed that is like you get so quiet at points.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, yeah. He had, when I was there, he had Ricky Wellman playing drums. And man, he was that go-go guy, that go-go stuff from DC.
Right.
Miles was into that go-go stuff. But then he would play using that go-go stuff in a lot of other kind of melodies, other kind of grooves too. So it's really kind of new to Ricky, some of the places we go melodically, you know. But when you break it down and you're grooving and you can hear everybody, that was an ear gig for me, Miles.
Right.
Because we're all listening, we all can hear everybody. It was so cool that when the volume, when intensity would get up, it would never go up as high as maybe where we started some of these things, you know.
Yeah.
But then when it's time to get loud and spank it, it's like there's even so much energy that's being put. But the main thing is we're so tight.
Yeah.
It's like seriously tight. And that was a gig that showed me how to listen. And that's one of the biggest things I learned with Miles.
Right. That's great. And was that guy Foley, the guitar player?
Foley was the bass. He played bass. So Foley's a bass player.
Oh, okay.
He plays serious drums too.
Right.
But he called that lead bass.
Yes, that was it. That was it.
Sound like guitar, but it was bass. It's 4-string bass. He just had it tuned up, and the sound of it, he'd be all up in there.
Yeah.
That's Foley. But as a bass player, man, he's funky as hell.
I'm sure. I can only imagine.
Yeah, I'm digging some Foley.
Yeah. Oh my God. I remember listening to Miles Davis 80s stuff. I mean, probably stuff with you on it. Like when I was like growing up and just being like, my mind was just blown by what was going on.
I don't know. The only thing I've done with Miles was some live recordings, but any of the recordings before that, I played with him in '98, and didn't go too much after that. So some of the live performances got recorded, but anything before that or in the studio, I haven't worked with Miles. You know. But
so you were back at the late 80s.
Yeah, late 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, 89, and a lot of, like I said, a lot of the shows were recorded where we hear certain things that come up, and I said, "Wow, I don't remember that. I don't remember getting paid for that either." So, so live recordings, you know.
So Miles owes you some money.
Well, you know, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? I just saw a video of you because I was looking at some of your stuff before we had this conversation, and there's a video of you playing with Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters in Japan, and you were playing Watermelon Man with the bottle.
You know, with the bottle.
With the what?
Oh, the bottle. Yes.
Where I mean, that's like such an iconic like jazz funk thing. Is there a particular type of bottle you need for that?
Well, any bottle that you use that you have a certain amount of water in it and you blow on it, you're gonna get a tone out of it if you blow across the bottle, you know. Yeah. And then you sing a note over that and then blow. So you sing, blow, sing, blow. I got that from a guy named Bill Summers. Do you know him?
I know the name, yeah, of course.
When you listen to to Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters, you're gonna find Bill Summers, the percussionist, that was involved with that.
He was the original guy that came up with that bottle thing on
Well,
that record, was he?
I don't know. He's the original guy on that record, but he learned it from the Pygmies. They play the Pygmy pipes, and the Pygmies is like central part of
Oh,
West Africa.
yeah.
That was we call it a Pygmy pipe. I don't have a bottle in front of me. If I had a bottle in front of me, I would do it right now.
Of course.
But you play over it, you sing a note, and you play a note, and you can harmonize with it, depending on the note that you have. What Bill did was took Watermelon Man and made an arrangement on like the beginning of that song. The song was written by Herbie, but when Bill Summers put people identified that with Watermelon Man.
Of course.
You know, when you have a melody that identifies a song, that's like part of the song.
Yeah.
You know, especially when a new arrangement on the song. So, yeah, Bill, he brought in the Hindi. It's called Hindu pipe, Hindu whistle, Hindu pipe. It's called Hindu. He brought that in, and a lot of people kind of got it from there. There's another friend of mine that plays that kind of stuff. His name is Durf Recklaw. He's a percussionist from Chicago that lives in L.A.
Okay.
And he's got another way of doing that too. He's bad. It's a whole different thing. It's basically the same as you play it, the way Bill Summers studied it through the Hindu people, the Pygmies.
Wow.
It's the same thing, but my friend Durf, he takes it to another level and screams in it. He does all kind of stuff. So it's his identity, what he does to that. I'll never do it like him.
It's so cool though. It just is perfect for that track.
Uh-huh.
And I'll probably play a little bit of it. Hopefully Herbie Hancock won't mind. Probably a short excerpt.
Yeah, totally cool.
I wanted to ask you as well, because you've been on the road with some of these like crazy influential people, is there like a favorite story from the road that you have, like something that sticks out in your mind?
Wow.
I realize that we're talking a span of a few years here.
Yeah, a couple of years, yeah. I don't know. We were out. Are you familiar with a guy named Vinks?
Is he a percussionist?
Yeah, he's a percussionist,
Yeah.
vocalist.
Yeah.
And he's a
Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah.
Yeah, we did some stuff with him. He sings. When he first started, I mean, he's doing a lot of different things. But he's playing this drum called a djembe. Are you familiar with the djembe?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, the djembe is from West Africa, from Mali, Guinea, Guinea.
Yeah.
I can't even say the other. The
Senegal.
Senegal, of course. Yeah. I'm going crazy. But it's like one of the famous drums in the world. I've seen him in Ghana. Seen different. Yeah, a lot of people call them African drums now. That's like the only African drum, but it just comes from one part of Africa. You know, the northwestern part of Africa. And anyway, so it's a high pitched drum. We get down, da da down, da da down, da boogadoo da 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 da. Well, Vinks had one that's, and when you hit the middle of the drum, it's like a bass tone.
Yeah.
He would use like the bass tone, almost like drums on it when he would sing. He would say, boo, ba, boo, ah, boo, ba, he played these different melodies and he would keep time on his drums. So it's not like he's a djembe player, but he created what he wanted to put to get his music across.
He's using it in his own way.
Right, using it in his own way. You can be judgmental if you want, but he's doing some music that people like. People love it. He did some really nice melodic music. He has a voice that doesn't sound like somebody that's going to play djembe.
Yeah.
And he's beating on the drum. So that's the kind of stuff he did. Sting discovered him, and Sting says, "Oh, I like this. This is nice," and wanted him to put a record together that.
Sting and Vince.
Yeah, Sting and Vince. Yeah,
Okay.
so Vince called us, called me, called Bill Summers, and another friend of mine named Angel Figueroa, and we put some things together for his record. Got people like Indugal's the great drummer, played on a couple of tunes. But what we did was depending on his songs, we tuned the drums to fit melodically with his vocalizing, with his songs that he's singing, and played some rhythms. The record came out so great, man. We took this on the road with Sting. Sting. Vince went out with Sting, but then Vince took his own band, and we went out and did some dates. And one of the dates we did with Sting at the Monterey Jazz Festival, the Montreux, not Monterey, Montreux Jazz Festival in Switzerland. And I played that. We played 2 nights there with Sting. Sting played bass with us.
Cool.
And it was real great. And it was the year after I played the Montreux Jazz Festival with Miles. So I came there and did one year with Miles, the first year with Miles, and then the next year I came back with Vince with Sting, and that sold out great. People heard about that, and that was the same year they were doing a tribute to Miles. That same I don't know about the same night, but it was the same time that we were there with Vince. They were there with Miles, and they had a big band doing a lot of Miles stuff. A lot of great players that played Miles's music. That's when he came back. The following year, I was with Miles, so we had fun. We had fun on that gig.
That's great. It's cool that you were there one year with and then had he passed away the same year, and
I think so. Yeah, later that year.
Okay. Wow, great stories, man. You must like just. Do you ever write any of this stuff down, or is it just in your mind?
Well, it's in 2 places. It's in my mind and it's on video. You can just go online and put put my name and put whatever where, and something will come up on it.
Yeah, it's cool. Isn't it cool that like nowadays, do you ever go on YouTube and you like try and find a gig that you did like in the 1980s and you're like, whoa?
No, I haven't tried to do that yet, because a lot of times I don't have time to do it because I'm so involved with so many things now to do that. But other people have told me that I saw this whole thing and you check this out, and they send it to me. I said, oh man, are you kidding? Or they send some old pictures when I had a big natural. You know what a natural is?
A what?
A natural.
No, I'm from Scotland, so I don't think we have those there.
Sorry to hear that. No. You got some black people there.
Oh, yeah, we do, yeah.
Natural. So, naturals like back then in the 70s, 60s, and 70s.
Oh, is that an afro?
Yeah, you can call it afro. We call them naturals because it's
cool.
your natural hair and growing out. And then we had a natural fork, or a pick, And sometimes you wear it in your hair,
So you had one of these?
Yeah, my hair, back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And this is when I went to, I was with a group maybe you never heard of. It was called The Supremes.
I certainly have heard of them, yeah.
Yeah. This was after Diana Ross left.
Okay.
Yeah. And we went to, they asked us if we wanted to go to Africa. I said, are you kidding? I would love to go to Africa. And it was Mary Wilson, Mary Wilson, Sherry Payne, and the third one, who was she replaced one of the originals, and I can't say her name. Oh my God! But we went to South Africa. I had no idea. They said, okay, we're gonna go to Africa. I said, hey, book me. I'm cool. I didn't know the difference between this part of Africa and that part of Africa. We're on the 747, so with the Supremes and the band that we had, and we're on a group. And another group was there called Young Hearts, and they had some old hit songs out then. And a guy named Rufus Thomas that had this song out about shorts. What do you call those? Bermuda, not Bermuda shorts. It's a song he had about shorts.
Okay.
And so we went out there. We flew there on a 747. And back then, the 747, I'm sure they flipped more than 300 now, but back then it was like 270, 275, 275 people on a plane going to South Africa. And out of 270 people, the only black people on that plane was us and one other person. Right. So it's like, whoa. And we didn't know till we flew to Johannesburg, South Africa. And we didn't know that we had to be honorary white to be accepted into the country. And this is something that It's not like they put it down on our passports or anything, but I knew nothing about apartheid. We flew there in the midst of apartheid. I was like, what? I didn't want to go to Africa, but I didn't know it was going to be like this.
Yeah.
So, as a matter of fact, that's where my name, Munyungo, came from.
Yeah, of course.
It came from, we met some people, us, we go into a city and, man, we will see some folks around, we'll speak, hey, how you doing? I mean, we'll check it out first. It's not like we're going to be over-friendly. But a friend of mine, Joe Harris, he's a bass player from D.C. He came with us. Quentin Denard was playing drums. A friend of mine named Randy Piaget was playing guitar. Teddy Harris was the MD. I forgot who was playing piano. But we went down there and we met some people that took us to Soweto. Now, Soweto is a small village, city, whatever, way out to get black people out of the city, Johannesburg. They would go into the city and do different things, but they had to have permits and whatnot. I couldn't believe that they had to have a permit to be in a certain place. And of course, we looked totally different because we had big naturals back then.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we were there in like October, the month of October we were there to where we celebrated, and part of November, and we celebrated Halloween over there. And of course, they looked at us like we were crazy. We didn't have any costumes. We had these different things that we would just fix up and look crazy and have a little party in the hotel that night.
Yeah.
But I met some people in Soweto, and we were hanging out, and we were talking about things and playing, and just different things. And they started calling me Nyango. Nyango. I said, what is that? Nyango. They said that it meant a door that you walk in and out of, an entrance, an exit. I said, well, wow, in the Zulu language. So I took that on. I said, Munyungo. So I got it it's on my passport now. So that's me, Daryl Munyungo Jackson.
So you actually, wow, that's an amazing story, man. So you went to South Africa during apartheid.
Yes.
With a big natural.
Yes.
And you literally had no idea apartheid was going on. You ended up in Soweto and someone gave you the name Munyungo and you brought it back, and that's you today.
Yes.
I love it.
Exactly.
That's so great, man. Okay, man. I just want to ask you one last thing. What's coming up in 2016 for you?
Good question. I've been working on my project for the longest, and I want to finish this year. Every time I'm doing some things, then I get kind of sidetracked working on another project. And so I kind of put mine to the side and I work on somebody else's project to either produce or just play on this stuff. But whenever I do work on a project, I learn a lot from it that'll help me get back into doing the things that I want to do for my project. But I'm doing all acoustic stuff, of course. And a lot of different kind of melodies, a lot of different songs. I just want to do some more music. I mean, music is different now because, people can download your stuff almost free. There's different places to hear your music. There's so much music out there, But I just want to do the music that I have in my heart that percussion-wise that people can use. And I love the cajon, so I'm using the cajon on a lot of things, So
What kind of cajon do you use? An LP?
Well, I mean, I got a lot of cajon sounds. Yeah. LP, and I got the new Kevin Ricard.
Oh, lovely.
Drum. Let me see. And I don't know if you can hear the difference. I should have had all of mine in here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the first ones, I got Crown Percussion, and that's through Remo.
Oh, okay. I've got one of their Dorado ones that I really like.
Yeah, I love collecting cajons, man. There's like they do those so many different things, man.
I know.
And they have different type sounds. Oh man, I can't see this. Oh, Mario Cortez. I should have known that.
Oh yeah, they're great.
He makes the great ones. Those are my favorite ones. Between that and then when Kevin Ricard came out with his, I said, "Are you kidding?" So that's one of the main ones that I play now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we're totally cool.
Oh, I thought you were gonna start playing it. That's why I wasn't saying anything.
I was trying to be nice, but I don't know if you can hear this. Doing some of the stuff like some of the Peruvian stuff.
Yeah.
And then I went into like a backbeat.
Yeah.
Things, But even I'm gonna turn it around a little bit so maybe you can hear the back of it, And sometimes there's so many things that you can do, Sometimes I you just swing. Or even go.
Lovely. Thank you so much for the. That's the first time we've had a live solo of any kind on the podcast, and I'm glad it's you, man.
Chris, just playing loose. Went to some 7 stuff, some little 4 stuff, little swing, a little different things.
Well, it sounded great, man. On that note, Munyungo, I just want to say thanks so much for joining me. Thanks for doing the interview, and it's always great to chat. We've chatted a few times now, but it's a total pleasure, man.
Pleasure's mine, and I hope that you enjoy the tune "Baby It's Cold Outside."
And that's what we're going to hear now.
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I've gotta go away.
Deborah, it's cold out there.
This evening has
I was hoping that you'd drop in.
so very nice.
Take your hands, ooh, they feel like
My mother will start
You're
to worry,
beautiful, girl, what's your
and my
hurry?
father will be pacing the
Listen to
floor.
that fireplace roar.
So really, I'd better skedaddle.
So fine, please spend
Well,
some time.
maybe just a little.
Why don't you
bit
put on your
more.
CD while I pour?
The neighbors might think drink.
Baby, it's bad out there.
Say, what's in this drink?
Has to be had out there.
I wish I knew how
Eyes are like starlight.
to break the spell.
Take your hat.
That was a clip from Deborah Law's new song, Baby It's Cold Outside, featuring Munyungo Jackson on cajon and percussion. Make sure that you check it out on iTunes. Thank you so much for listening to the PlayCajon podcast, guys. I really appreciate it. You can check out Munyungo's website, which is simply munyungo.com, for all of his information and what he's up to. And of course, make sure you check out all the future episodes at playcajon.org, and you can also subscribe on iTunes and on Android. Just search for PlayCajon and you'll find us. Till next time, take care of yourselves.